In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can add a dome light or an overhead lighting system in your vehicle, whether it be for a pickup and you have a cover that you want to have a pin switch activated, so that way when you open up the top half of your cover, the light comes on. If you have a van or some kind of big truck, like a U-Haul kind of looking truck, where you have the big overhead door that rolls up and you want to have a light come on automatically when the door is open, but you don't want to have something mechanical that you can kick or break or worry about rusting, something like that. This is what I suggest all you types of guys use, and these things are very popular. We sell them a lot on our site. If you can't take a hint, we sell this stuff. This here is a mercury switch. These are adjustable, and they still actually produce these with real mercury. I know that the stuff is actually outlawed in certain areas because people were dumb enough to ingest it. I take, with caution with you, of course, don't heat this stuff. But here is actually how you go ahead and you can make a really good switch that's going to last a very long time, if not for absolute ever, once installed properly and adjusted. Just work wonderfully. A switch like this can run, I'd say, about 8 amps worth of lights, and that's a lot of lights, especially if you're going with LEDs. That's almost countless amounts of lights that you can add into your vehicle. For my demonstration, I'm using this little LED strip. It's just a 2-wire 12-volt system. This here is the fuse that I recommend that you or anybody uses. It doesn't have to be exactly this one, but it has to be something. And I would recommend that you fuse the positive side of your power input on this here circuit. So you're going to have to run a power lead from somewhere up in your cab, from your battery, wherever it has to be. It doesn't have to be any space specific, but it does have to be constant 12-volt power. So once you have that run and it is fused, I'm connecting that to one half of my LED strip. The other half of my LED strip is going to be my negative input, which once it sees ground, the light's going to complete, the circuit's going to come on. Now the way it's going to work is you're going to take this here switch. Say for instance that we're using a pickup truck, and the top half opens up this way, so you can access it and stick your hand in there, grab what you need to do, and then you close it and lock the handle. You would take something like this, drill a hole right here, and have your switch. And basically what you want it to be is you want this to not connect when the door is closed. So you would screw this in and you adjust the switch so that way it's just enough, so that way the mercury is not connecting to the 2 wires completing the circuit. So essentially it's going to be a normally open circuit, and then it's going to be closed to complete. So one wire, doesn't matter which one of the wires from the mercury switch, has to go to a solid chassis ground in the back of your vehicle in your truck for this application. Switch is mounted and adjusted so that way it's open. Other half of the switch is going to go to the negative input on the LED strip that we're using to light up our truck. So now we have constant 12 volts, fuse going to our light, ground output is going to one side of this here switch, and then the other side of the mercury switch is connected to ground. So now when you open up the lift gate of your truck, light on and off, just that simple. There is nothing in here that's magnetic. There's nothing in here that's made of metal that's ever going to rust, corrode, break, or ever get rubbed against, smashed, or broken, because if you're using this for a work truck especially, you want to take extra good care. You don't want to have stuff that's going to have to require a whole lot of maintenance and stuff you have to worry about. This is an awesome way to handle the job. And these things work great for hoods, for this truck application, if you have an overhead door like I was explaining on trucks, just excellent. So this here is actually called an Omega AU46. These are the mercury switches. This here is just a light. I mean, of course, you could use any kind of light that you choose. It's not, doesn't have to be anything, but this is just what I use for my demonstration, so who really cares? But whatever you're going to get, I would get something that's going to be, good for whatever you're using. So if you're putting in the upside of a truck, you might want something that's, dome or circular in shape, or you could have several of them or several strips and lay them out wherever it is that you need to get your light to. Get yourself a mercury switch. Wire doesn't have to be anything super extravagant. I'm using 22 gauge wires. That's it. As far as your fuse lead, I would suggest maybe going with something 12 gauge, because you never know down the road. It's always good to have an extra 12-volt lead if you wanted to add a USB charger, or if you wanted to have a little power for a small inverter or something like that in a truck. It's always good to think ahead. But that's my little tip today for adding an LED or a standard light in your truck vehicle. This is how I do it. It's how I've always done it, and it's always worked great for me, and I hope it does the same for you.